as I'm dragging bait, I'll give a quick dirty recap of what happened last time. Last time we were exploring some dungeon-type chambers underneath Sokol Keep, and first we came across some animated statues, with which we had a pretty tough fight. I believe Varys got locked out into the other room, which was filling with water, and had a tough fight with a skeleton as well. We did overcome and take a rest after that. Moving on to the next chamber, we found a large pit, but Omi was able to hammer some pythons into the wall, and we were able to skirt around the chamber with no problem and no potential encounters.
That was a good idea, actually. Sorry to chime in, but that was a good idea.
Thank you. And moving on around the circular dungeon, this seemed like we came upon this chamber where there was a statue to Dagon, the Prince of the Deaths, and believe it was Kel. Was it Kel who was able to determine that there was some undead present? So Omi was able to cast some fairy fire on the undead, and we were able to making us able to make short work of the undead. After that, we found a room with a door, and upon entering the door, we found Sergeant Grim Thornbrush and a lot of his guards. We discovered that Grim Thornbrush had murdered Mr. Sokol and planned on stealing a lot of the treasure from Sokol Keep. He was found out, arrested, and when we returned to town, he was later hung for his crimes.
That's right. He was showed no mercy, especially after what he had done to Agan Sokol. And we are going to pick up 10 days later because you guys had all of your downtime and whatnot, and everyone is sitting around the table inside of the Laughing Goblin Inn, and the Laughing Goblin Inn is where the pointer is right here, and it's in the Bay Area, and this is the Laughing Goblin.
I wrote the building when I came in.
So as you guys are sitting around the table, you've had the last 10 days to hang out around Flan or maybe the surrounding area. So what has everybody been doing for the last 10 days? So what has Markish been doing for the last 10 days?
Well, he took a little side mission. Ended up with a drop from his secure drop from his faction. And I'll just kind of read through what that entailed. But I received a missive from Captain Alexander. And he was talking a bit about the town of Blackstone. He said that he had sent a troop there to help secure the town, but they were turned away in haste. But apparently, the group that was sent there to secure the town were thwarted in some way, shape, or form. The missive said that a contact within the city told of a traitor in our ranks, and it's a half-orc by the name of Krusk. Born or raised by the faction, he ended up apparently turning on a group of his faction. Detailed description of Krusk and his traveling companions were included in the missive, and they are wanted. It's about a 10,000 gold bounty on each head for anyone in the party.
Wow.
Each party member, and they were last seen entering a floating cloud tower. It was a huge wizard's hat, so the faction believes it'd be pretty easy to find should you see it in the sky. And they were floating to the north.
Nice. Wow, I like that. Holy crap. That's a pretty busy 10 days. And just remember, guys, you guys can do carousing if you want as well. We'll break out the carousing table. All right, so let's see. Shen, what have you been up to for the last 10 days around Flan?
Shen's just been hanging out by the water, getting back to his roots, being out to sea, hanging out on the beaches and stuff, drinking and having a good time.
All right. Kel, what say you? 10 days, what have you been doing?
Well, I'm going around the various taverns spreading the word about how the town could do with somewhere to pray and have faith in the gods. Getting the idea of the town of wanting this multi-faith temple, I then began getting the wood that I got sent there and getting some, hopefully with the help of Omi, because he's the carpenter, to help do some structural work to stabilise it, and then trying to go and persuade the heads of the city again to try and kind of start looking to get it rebuilt as a multi-faith temple. So kind of going around doing that for the 10 days.
Yeah, there's you've actually made a little bit of progress. There's a bunch of materials there at the temple now. So I remember several sessions ago, you had come in contact with a merchant, if I'm not mistaken. One of
a pair of hardlings.
Yeah. So they've actually gotten back to you and sent a shipment of supplies to the actual temple. Because I actually believe that deal was actually had been struck.
Yeah, I made that deal, and I actually purchased a huge load of wood as well, so to help do it. So with that structural work started, having a bit more solid grounds to then go back to the heads of the town and go, look, we've made a start, we've started doing this structural work, the people are crying out for it, try and get them to try and push a bit more to try and get them to help build it, rather than because it's something the town want to help for morale, help for things like that, just to build the town up and make it better. And
yeah, you've got quite a few supplies, and this note says compliments, from the Halfling brothers. So it's you've been able to make some pretty good headway within the last 10 days. Right.
Also, I want to try and see if I can pop into one of the local temples of Tyr, and I wanted to drop off this tome that we picked up from Sockle Keep on that was written by an old follower of Tyr, because it's something that should be staying within the confines of the churchhood of Tyr, so it's part of their history. So it's there for reference if people need it, and the information from within it.
Well, the Knights of the Black Order, they're basically the militia of Flan. They are in the Lyceum of the Black Order. They don't want the book. They're actually the Knights of the Black Order. The Knights of the Black Fist. They don't want that. As for the other temples, I mean, these temples are just really not. They're old. They're abandoned. And maybe that's an item that you can put into your temple, if you don't mind having different, worshiping gods of worship in there. So it just depends on what you want to do.
Sounds cool to me.
But the only open door temple would be the Temple of Bane, and that's pretty much almost the exact opposite of the deity that you actually serve. So. But yeah, none of that temple just doesn't want it.
Yeah, we'll just carry on rebuilding this Temple of Bane then into a multi-faith temple, and we'll have it there.
Yeah. All right.
And keep an eye out for any potential person that could be the upfront day-to-day runner of this temple when I'm off adventuring, because it's going to need a living clergy, as it were.
Oh yeah. I'm sure there maybe you can do some kind of call out for an apprentice or some type of apprentice acolyte. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
All right. So Varys, what about you? What have you been doing for 10 days?
I spent half my time in the library reading about local history in this area, and then I spent the other 5 days carousing.
Wow! Some carousing. Wow, that's cool. Let me break out this carousing table. I believe carousing takes it'll cost you 5 days of your downtime, so you'll spend 5 days, And you'll also spend, what is it, 5 gold a day to carouse because of all of the gambling and whatnot. So, yeah, carousing's pretty good. It can be bad. It could also be lucrative. So I'm going to share the carousing table with you, Raz. And give me a good old roll from that table. So your carousing is going to cost you pretty much 20 gold. All right.
It's 5 per day, isn't it?
5 per day. Okay, if you did 5, yeah, it'll be 25 gold. My bad. That's why I majored in history, not mathematics. All right, so 84. Wow, very nice. You actually earned modest winnings from gambling and recuperate your lifestyle expenses for the time spent, and you gain 48 extra gold. So you can add 48 extra gold. So give us a little story of, where did you go to do this? What was the name of this establishment? Was it something that was open to the public? Was it something that was kind of behind closed doors? Did you meet any cool women? What happened?
It was just an establishment I kind of stumbled onto. It wasn't publicized or anything. I just walked in on it, and instead of making a big fuss about it, I just sat down, chip in a chair, and
Did
played.
the guy behind the counter say, "Just go ahead and knock on the door, and the password's New England clam chowder"?
Something like that. And basically, he approached me and asked me if I was interested in the game. And I've played dice or cards before, so I went in and paid my fee and was a winner.
Well, you actually won so much they kicked you out because you took them for 48 gold, which is actually quite a bit of cash. So good job with that. I mean, really good job with that. So did you meet any women or anything like that when you're carousing?
No.
No? Darn it. No juicy stories. So how about OME? What happened with OME? So go ahead and Varus, deduct your 5 days downtime and add your 48 gold, and congrats. What about OME? What happened with him for 10 days?
Oh, Omi wants to go out carousing and roll on that table.
Well, let's see. You've got the table as well, right?
Yep, I'll roll on it before I make the story.
How many days carousing did you actually carouse?
I'll spend 5 days carousing and then spend the other 5 working on some projects at the Laughing Goblin Inn because the innkeeper there told me that a lot of parts of the inn were in disrepair and needed fixing.
Yeah, you broke to shit is why. You and your antics with clicking the spoons together and stuff. Plus, yeah, I think you probably would have helped Kel a little bit anyway, so... Oh! So, yeah, so as you were out carousing, you were actually jailed for a couple of days.
I don't know how that 3 got in there. It should be a 10.
Yeah, that's yeah, you definitely caroused. You got jailed. How many days did you get jailed for? Roll a d4 for me. Let's see. You were actually carousing. You got jailed for 2 days, and at the end of your period, you actually were charged with disorderly conduct and disturbing the peace. So you got to pay a fine of 10 gold to avoid any more jail time. Or if you'd like to try to resist the arrest, that would be pretty bad as well.
I want to know how exactly you disturb peace with spoons.
Yeah, what happened?
Well, Omi finally manages to get another show at Madame Frioda's playing the spoons, even though he had to beg to get into it. And he had this great idea for this performance where he would come in wearing only a jock strap with a metal cup, metal butt plate that he could tap the spoons against. Yeah, well, he started playing and climbing up on the counter, and everyone was giving him funny looks and everything else. And he he made one too many moves, and the jock strap was a little bit too tight and went flying across the room and landed on Madame Fiona's head and wrapped around her neck. And shortly thereafter, the guards rushed in and arrested Omi for public nudity.
Oh God.
Was that community service time afterwards was spent helping at the temple?
And the best thing about it was the sound that the jockstrap made as the strap snapped. It was like, pew, as it shot across the room.
Yeah, it gave
Oh,
Madame
God.
Fiona a black eye, so she was pretty pissed.
Wow. So you spent the last 2 days of your downtime in the slammer, basically. You had to pay a 10 gold fine. Wow. Not too good. So you're out a total of like 35 gold. That's pretty crazy. But hey, it was probably worth it. I mean, your performance was at least stellar. I mean, until the jockstrap broke, you know.
Omi's definitely known throughout Flan now.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
in some street corners, his photo is next to the one of the bathhouse burglar they're still looking for. People are starting to draw conclusions, man.
I know.
Jockstrap Spooner.
So Zomi gets there and he pulls up he's all roughed up and doesn't look like he's had any kind of bath in the last couple of days. You guys are now sitting around the table. And there's been some gossip going around that there's been some strange happenings. And these strange happenings have basically coincided with, you guys have heard several times that there have been pirates. Anybody remember the pirates that are doing what? Anybody for free inspiration?
They're raiding the sort of coast of the bay for people coming in, trading in and out.
Very good. So you can have an inspiration, Marcus, and you can also give one other person of your choice inspiration. So yeah, there's this rumors actually kind of coincide with the strange happenings that have been happening over the last week to 10 days of these raids that have been happening along the coast of the Moon Sea. Now let me show you guys this map of the Moon Sea. This is just a small little map, and you guys see Flan here at the top, right? Let me give you a pointer. Mega big pointer.
Definitely
So you
can
guys
see it.
are here.
Definitely
Yeah.
know where that one was.
Yeah. So all along this road, all the way to Zent Keep, which is an old abandoned Zentrum Keep. All along this coast, there have been these strange happenings of this ship. Some reports have some rumors are they're pirates. Some rumors you've heard that they are even undead coming off of the ship, or maybe even ships. Just rumors, of course, right? So there's also word of mouth saying that one of the worshippers of Kelemvor, the high priest, his name is Yovir Glandon, he has seems like he's been the source of a lot of these rumors about these ships that are attacking all of the all of these little settlements of the Moon Sea. And he works in the Valhingen graveyard. Now you guys know where the graveyard is, right? You guys, it's just north of the town. So I'm going to put another little pointer up here where the city of Flan is, and this guy is looking for someone to help solve the adventure. He's been very outspoken. He's been standing in the central part of the markets, standing on top of a makeshift cart holding up signs and propaganda saying that the city of Flanton is not doing enough to, defend themselves against anything, if anything would possibly happen from these ships. Granted, sure, a lot of the people call him crazy, and you hear several of the patrons of the bar, they're talking about how this guy's crazy, and he's actually becoming the butt end of jokes, saying, a lot of people are saying, what's going to happen here in Flan? These little villages and mills and little settlements they're not even towns, they're single buildings. So is this ship going to be crazy enough to pull into the Bay of Flan and literally attack Flan when we have, the Knights of the Black Fist led by Ector Brahms and all of this? Are they really that crazy? They're not that crazy. We're fine. And all of the drinks are flowing, the food's flowing, the little buffet bar to the side is being filled up. So, yeah. But this guy, Yovir Glandon, he's the caretaker. Basically, he's like the high priest of the, Kelemvor and all of the, the graveyard. So he's looking for, he's been screaming that he's needing adventurers, to find out what's going on with all these coastal community attacks.
Has he mentioned any sort of reward or compensation for these adventures at this point?
No, there's a couple of there's actually a couple of the patrons of the bar that have one of his makeshift posters up on the wall that they're throwing darts at it, and you get a glance of it, and it says nothing about any kind of money or anything like that. He says, and it's got a picture of him pointing out at you, and it says,
Uncle Sam.
It's sort of like, yeah, you kind of, he just kind of saying, "Are you up for adventure?" And that's what it says. If you're up for adventure, come to the Valhengen graveyard and seek Yovir Glandon, High Priest of Kelemvor.
But it's far out of town. It's just like nipping over the river, just seeing what's going on. If it's nothing of interest, and it's a kind of, there's no,
Midday.
he's not going to pay out or anything for it or anything like that. We could always pop down the pub, and it's not like we've lost anything.
No, very true. Yeah, what's up,
Shen is-
Marcus?
I said, is it midday?
It is midday right now. It sure is. Shen?
I'm very interested in talking about these pirates. I got some vengeance to take out on some pirates.
Ooh. I like it. That's right, because you're a sea dog.
I think it might be a good idea if I get away from the city for a little while.
Yeah, I heard about that, homie. Madame Fiona is never going to let you in her place again.
Well, we don't know. We don't know about that. We'll see.
I think her black eye, rumor has
Thanks,
it.
James.
Oh man,
Thanks
she's
for the
gonna kick you
host.
square in the nuts next time you step in there.
That might be the end of the brand muffins for you.
Recommend you wear your steel codpiece.
Yeah, you may want to get that back from her.
I still got it on. Clink, clink.
So we're agreed we're all going to go to see this guy.
If there's gold in it, I'm up for it.
Okay, so if we take the route and go through to the plaza out that way to the north,
Yep.
is that guy
Good.
standing in the plaza yelling?
No, he only does frequently. It's not like he hangs out in the plaza all day and does that. And this is in Pottle Plaza as well, as you're going to walk towards the Valhengen graveyard. But, yeah, he's not out there currently. As you guys are, kind of strolling by, he's not there. But the only other place he'd probably be would be the Valhengen graveyard.
Is he
What's
a
up,
gravekeeper?
James? He is, because as you guys start to get closer to the graveyard, you can see that there is a gentleman with a shovel in hand, and he's, digging and whatnot. The sun shines brightly over your head. The graveyard is beautiful as you approach. It is very well maintained, very well taken care of. And this gentleman in a gray robe, definitely working hard. He's probably almost up to his waist digging. He hears you guys coming up, and he turns around and kind of uses the shovel to help get himself out of the hole. And then there's several pots of flowers and a gravestone that is on the ground also. And as he gets out of the hole, he looks to be probably about 40 years of age. And you get closer, you can see he's definitely he looks to be a religious type, with his symbols and whatnot. But he also appears to be a man that's actually worked hard. You can tell he's got, his hands are dirty, he's got calloused hands, his robes are all grass stained. And he, without even looking at you guys, he says, "Welcome." And like I said, he doesn't even look at you, and he says, "Welcome. I am so glad that some adventurers have answered my call for aid. If all is as I fear, time may be short, so let us talk quickly." And then he kind of looks up towards everybody, and he's eyeing everybody up. And then he kind of really looks at Omi, and he just kind of shudders a little bit.
I take it you're Mr. Glendon, Master Glendon.
Very well spoken, man. He says, "I am. My name is Yovir Glandon, and welcome to the Valhingen graveyard. I wish we were meeting on better terms and at a place of, not in a graveyard, but as you can see, it is well maintained. And he's continuing to, kind of fill in the hole and working the gravestone, this grave marker over to the, the top of the hole. And he says, "So you're seeking adventure. Why else would you be coming to see me at the graveyard?"
I look at the other ones and I just say under my breath, "I seek gold. If adventure is what it takes, so be it."
Well, I cannot give you gold. I have none to give. I hope that is not the most important thing that you seek. Being, citizens of Flan like yourselves, wouldn't you like to see Flan stay safe? The Knight of the Blackfist, they seem not to care about these coastal attacks. It seems like all of the Council of Flan, they pay no attention. They're taking no heed to all of the chaos along the coast of the Moon Sea. I mean, is money truly the only thing that you seek? You seem like you're adventurers. You have weapons. You have armor. Don't adventurers find treasure as they are adventuring?
Yes, my friends. If these truly are pirates, there will be bounty aplenty, I am sure.
Then I'm in.
He kind of cracks a somewhat smile. And he also has a bag that he goes over and grabs a water skin out of and, kind of washes his hands off a little bit, rubs some on his face, puts some over his head as he kind of leans over. And he says, "My friends, there are rumors of ghost ships, or maybe a ghost ship, that is attacking all of these these small villages with undead. There's been rumors of pirates from small islands, or maybe on the other side of the Moon Sea, but I've actually been told that these are actually undead. They are not living, my friends. So, what rumors have you thought? Well, what rumors have you heard? I can, obviously, I'm sorry, I'm not